What screams small town to you? Everyone going to a high school football game. That's broadcast on the radio with play-by-play. Your high school crush who now owns/works the diner in town, where he wears flannel shirts and teaches you the true meaning of Christmas. I see you Hallmark Channel producers. People not locking their doors at night. There was a serial killer who was once asked, "Which houses did you choose as the ones for the murders?" He replied with, "The ones were unlocked. I just opened the door and walk it." I can't remember the exact conversation or who the killer was. I just remember he was one of the more recognizable ones. Night Stalker, I think. Waving at oncoming cars on the road. I'm on the next level then. Half the people that drive by in the summer stop to talk because they know there won't be another car anytime soon. That's my town, too. When you're a kid, if you get in trouble out playing, 5 other people will call home and tell on you before you even get back inside. Scotland here. I have been all over Scotland to a lot of small towns, and here's what I think of with small towns in Scotland. A Coop. There's always a Coop for some reason. Coop are a chain of small supermarkets and they tend to be very community focused, but there always seems to be a Coop. At least one quirky historic thing. Cases in point. Jedburgh has a whole thing with being a river town, and has this weird thing called the Bay Game, which is like medieval football. Dunkeld has the riot over bridge tolls in the 19th century. Aberfeldy has the Berks, which is basically a Burns-themed forest. Melrose has a thing with Rome, because it had a Roman fort nearby. Somewhere you can rent a quad bike. I don't know why, but you can. It is not unusual to hear gunshots if you are in the Highlands because of clay/grouse shooting. And yes, gunshots are unusual in Scotland in general. The local character, you know the one. Your point about the Coop reminded me of another thing I usually see in small towns in America. I have only seen grocery stores in small towns or Piggly Wiggly if you're in the South. In the South, the Hoggly Woggly is a tourist attraction. Ours has an employee that dresses up and poses for pictures for the Yankees that think it's funny. When I was in high school, I walked a girl home from a high school dance and gave her a kiss before she went inside. Then I walked home. As soon as I got home, my mother was asking who that was that I was kissing. No stoplights. My whole county has but one stoplight, and even that wasn't installed until about 10 years ago. Oh, you live in Radiator Springs? Having to travel a considerable distance to run simple errands like go to the grocery store, post office, or doctor appointments. When any form of entertainment like going to the movies requires an hour or more drive. When people go to the local fire department for emergency medical help because the closest ambulance or hospital is too far away. When everyone has satellite cause the cable companies wouldn't make enough selling their services to justify running the lines out there. People knowing everything that happens in the life of everyone around them. You go home for a visit and your mom saved you a newspaper clipping of the story about the husband of the sister of the girl you took to prom, wherein he uses his family-owned construction company to help rebuild the dairy barn just in time for winter. Oddly specific, lol. Two pickup trucks going opposite directions stopped in the middle of Main Street with their windows rolled down to talk to each other. Nobody minds. You just casually drive around them. If they honk, it's to say hi. Everyone you meet has lived there since they were. Seeing the same people every day. When you describe your house by who used to live there, and people know exactly where it is. Yeah. We bought a house this summer. Fussy for certain's place. Oh, right on. That brown story and a half. We used to party there. I remember when it was smaller, before they built the additions. Out in Plessy Plecerton. Right? Congrats. Everything closes at 10 p.m. 10? How about 5 lol? Don't start any home improvement projects in the afternoon around here. When the nearest Walmart is an hour away and all you have is Dollar General. Right now a Dollar General is better than a Walmart. Gas stations close at 7 p.m. You had gas stations. People leaving their cars running in the winter with the keys in the ignition and the door unlocked. Actually just leaving doors unlocked in general. My ex-in-laws never once locked their front and back doors on their house in the entire time I knew them. Water towers doubling as welcome to signs. Dairy Queen. More of a generic version, though, like Dairy Freeze. Just a name, apostrophe. Jim's apostrophe or Kelly's apostrophe. There's a town an hour south of me where a US highway runs through Main Street and turns to brick road through the town. A US highway is brick for about 2 miles. I wanna know. What's the place? Lots of stuff in people's yards. Kids' toys, farming equipment, junked furniture or appliances, etc. A lot of times it's easier to just hold on to stuff than try and drive an hour to get the new version, or shovel out money to have the garbage guys take it away. Don't even get me started on the mobile home neighborhoods. Neighbors bringing you welcome to the neighborhood baked goods. Having a local restaurant that's mediocre at best and everyone still goes to, usually has been around 4 years and has at least one story of when some famous person stopped by. We called the one in our town the Greasy Spoon. You can't go into town for errands without it taking twice as long as it should, because you have to stop and talk to everyone you know, and you know just about every person you see. Snowmobile winter jackets. The convenience store is also the grocery store, fast food joint, arcade, banking center, gas station, souvenir shop and clothing store. Taking the midnight train going anywhere. Piano intensifies. It. City dwellers imagining what small towns are like. Or have watched one too many Hallmark/Lifetime movies and assume they are based in reality. High school reunion is held at a local cafe, using only one table. Not a stereotype. A friend of mine used to say he could have a high school reunion anytime because he only had to call the other 5 members if his graduating class. People seriously not worried about locking stuff. Cars, doors, etc. I wish I could be that carefree in the city without worry. A town with a population less than 10,000. My town recently hit a new high for our population. We finally broke 1,500 people living here. I taught school in a town that used to say they had a population of 1,500, but only if you count the chickens and pigs. A lack of decent public transport links where all the shops close on a Sunday, as if the 90s never happened. Middle America has cities of 500,000 people that still qualify. Dirt roads everywhere off the main road. A shuttered, derelict and faded Dairy Queen. Or Tasty Freeze. With 2 kids named Jack and Diane sitting outside sucking on chili dogs. The tallest building is the church's steeple. Volunteer fire departments and dry counties. People glaring at you for wearing a mask. You can find the grad photos of multiple generations of families on the high school walls. Only one high school. If it's combined with a middle school, even more so. A K-12 school. Wait, that's not normal in the US. My school was a K-12, and I live in the capital. Everyone has the same family name. The Yoda family in Amish country. Not locking the door. Used to go on late night walks with no phone. Me wanting to move there someday. Boutique shirts with scripted sayings that usually relates to Jesus, caffeine or wine addiction, and weird pride in general backwardness. Everyone wears the same Dollar General and Family Dollar clothing. A tavern, a handful of businesses, and one street through town. Sometimes I mosey into the town center and pretend that I live in an old western. When the parents of the students you go to school with went to the same school as you. No one leaves that town if they're born there. Seeing every single person you work with when you're just trying to go grocery shopping. Then they look at your cart and remind you of how unhealthy something is. One traffic light in the middle of town. Being at the town's only fast food restaurant and the two girls on their horses. Seeing wildlife wander into town.